Hey, good greetings, everybody. This is Picklebilly Jan, and it is my pleasure to have Dr. Rommie Maxey here today. We've been trying to make this happen, and so glad that we could get it scheduled. So it's 7 o'clock my time. What's going on in Texas here this morning?
9 o'clock in Texas, so not so bad. We have a group of people here where I live. It's a private community, and we have about 30, 40 people that show up every morning at 7 a.m. Texas time and play pickleball every morning, 7 days a week.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. sharp.
And is it just
Every
because
day.
they've got to get their pickleball in, or is it really hot?
No, it's not hot this morning. It's in the 40s, but they're out there playing. They just wrap up and go get it.
That's
And I was president of the club for 6 years. Recently resigned because of too many other things going on that I gave up the presidency of the club. But it's a growing club. We're 140 strong now in our community, and so it's a lot of folks playing pickleball.
how exciting. So are they waiting on the sides, or are they?
Well, they do. We have a little system of stacking paddles, so to speak, and
Yeah.
we worked that out. And then, so everybody just waits their turn and jumps out there. And we have 4 courts and dedicated courts, and they're all having a great time. Just a good social club.
Hey, I've got a question for you, and this might help us out with our current courts where we're at. They just have it, everyone plays with everybody. Do you guys have your courts based on advanced, intermediate, beginner, or is it one fell swoop?
We actually, the morning play and then some of our other evening play, as far as the club's concerned, is just to kind of everybody and just intermingle. But we do have other groups within the club that get together that are more advanced, and they may play on Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening or pick another time. So they kind of do that on their own in a little Group Me app and just decide when they want to play if they're more advanced players.
Yeah, they set up their own groups.
They set up their own private groups, right?
Yeah.
Within the group. It's kind of a deal. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. Everybody gets to play at their level if they want to. But the morning group is just social, bring some donuts, whatever, and they just have a great time.
Well, all right, everybody, put your seatbelts on. We really have got a lot to cover here today. You are involved in so many aspects of pickleball, and I think people need to hear about what you're doing. So you have, first of all, No Mercy Pickleball. Why don't we start there?
Okay. No Mercy is my website, nomercypickleball.com. And that's where I, put a lot of information out as far as the things that's happening with me and individually and the training that I do. I see probably on an average about 100 people per month in training or in clinics. I've already seen 13 people this week, and it's what, Tuesday morning? So
Yeah.
that tells you something. And got several clinics set up in the future. Saw 4 people. I was working all the way till 10 o'clock last night in a private gym. So it's just pretty much constant with the No Mercy part.
Yeah. And so did the No Mercy, did that springboard to your Costa Rica trips? Is that part
It
and
did.
parcel of that?
It did. Of course, all of the training that I do with seeing so many people, I've probably trained a little over 4,000 people in the last 3 years. And so from that, then I've just my email database and so forth that I've developed. I go 3 or 4 times a year to Costa Rica, and we set up a fun vacation pickleball trip. It's 3 hours of pickleball in the morning. You have your own private villa that you stay in and private bath. We have a private chef that does 2 meals a day, breakfast and dinner. In between, you have to go to the infinity pool and drink a pina colada or something. I mean, you have to do this stuff, right? So
Gotta,
it's
gotta
it's just
have it.
it's
Gotta
a
be
it's
there.
just a wonderful trip. Every trip, as soon as I advertise the official dates that I'm going,
Yeah.
the last 2 filled up in 7 minutes and 11 minutes. And then the other one, I didn't even give it any minutes. I just called 22 people, and they all said yes, and we went. So
Yeah.
that was 0 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, how can
so
you go wrong? Travel,
yeah,
exotic location. I mean, gotta have your pickleball every day. 3 hours is perfect.
we
Maybe a
have a
little
little
longer.
instructional time in the mornings for the first hour and a half is instructional, and the last hour and a half is free play, just fun, competitive play. And we do try to match up the better players with better ones, and so that everybody gets to play
Yeah.
at their skill level.
Yeah.
One day we go over to the Tamarinda Club. They have their own pickleball club, and we play the the locals that live in Costa Rica. We have a little social gathering and a little tournament, you might say, and have fun with them. And so it's just a blast. And we're staying at a 5-star Marriott Resort location that offers golf and has infinity pools and the beach, of course, and restaurants, and it's all included. And it's priced right, and it's just a great trip.
Yeah. Now, okay, so if people want to stay up on that, is that advertised on No Mercy Pickleball? Can they get the
Now
details?
they can get to me through No Mercy, and if they're interested, then they can obviously, do that, or I'll give my cell phone number out, and it's 713-443-4590, and you can call me and text me and just let me know you're interested, and I'll put you on the list.
All right. And that was 713
443
443
4590,
4590. Okay.
and just ask for Romy.
Okay. Okay. How nice of you. Yeah, that sounds really
Yeah.
like an
Well,
awesome thing to
I've got Jan on the list, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. My husband's like, oh, let's do it.
Let's go. And quite honestly, some couples that maybe the one spouse or the other doesn't play. That's okay. They can just lounge and do whatever they want to. And of course, I didn't even mention the excursions. The excursions are fabulous. Go to the zip lining. They got one of the longest zip lines in the world. They've got zoos, and they've got whitewater rafting, just all kinds of different excursion trips, and see the monkeys. While we're playing pickleball every day, the howler monkeys are usually in the trees, and so they're doing their little thing, and we're playing pickleball with the howler monkeys.
Wow.
It's too cool.
That sounds great. I know you have one coming in November and possibly in January. Is that
correct? Have
yeah,
one in
okay.
late November, and then one in early January, mid-January.
Yeah.
Of next
All right.
23.
So yeah, that sounds really great. Um, so let's talk about the AAU.
Okay.
And as old as I am, as much as I've done, I did not know about this entity, which is extremely important in the sports world, in the pickleball world, but in the sports world in general. So I think everyone needs to know, what is the AAU, and then how do yeah.
AAU is the Amateur Athletic Union. It is what I consider the precursor to the Olympics or Major League Baseball or to the NBA. Because if you look at the AAU representatives that are out there, LeBron James, some of the top players in Major League Baseball, some of the best players in all the different sports. They have volleyball, track and field, taekwondo, just a multitude of sports that AAU offers. It's almost a million people that belong to the AAU at this point, about 900,000 folks. It's a huge organization. And ESPN Sports is very, very involved with them because they love AAU, because they bring a lot of their activities and their national tournaments to the Orlando area.
Mm-hmm.
And even the AAU offices are on the ESPN Sports Wide World of Sports land, and they give them those offices free of charge because they love the AAU. I'll give you one prime example. This past year, even during the COVID year, they had the AAU Volleyball National Championships in Orlando, and it brought in 2,300 teams, not individuals, 2,300 teams over about a 10-day period, and it was a little over $150 million during that time to the Orlando area. So you think they don't love them?
Yeah.
Especially during a pandemic year. So that's the kind of things that AAU represents. Then moving forward, just in the last couple of years, they decided to bring on pickleball, realizing it's the fastest growing sport in the world, that, hey, we need to have pickleball inside our umbrella of AAU.
Yeah.
So it began, and so it started out trying to do some tournaments and things like that, and got the word out. But now we really are starting large initiatives in bringing AAU. We'll probably have our first collegiate club national championship. We've identified over 30 colleges in the nation that have club teams now. For example, University of Virginia has 300 in their club team at the University of Virginia
They
pickleball.
do. Oh,
Yes,
that's exciting.
Texas
Yeah.
A&M, Texas A&M, who's a good friend of close to us. They have a little right at 50 in their team that just started a few weeks ago, and they already have 50 people in their club team. So we've identified all these colleges. Now we're going to try to bring them together and have a club national championship. And what our vision is, though, moving forward, is not just have a club national championship, but then if we get enough colleges interested and get pickleball clubs started, having an SEC championship, having a Big 12 championship, having a Pac-12,
Yeah.
all of them have a conference championships that lead up to then the national championship, which can be super exciting. So we're involving the college age young people.
So help me break this down. So promoting it at the college level, you're going to be developing the sport. You're going to be bringing more athletes to pickleball, and then would this collegiate program feed into the like the pros, kind of like how football does? You know, you got the college players.
Obviously, if they're playing at the collegiate level, then some of them are former tennis players or former racquetball players. Those that have those skills that lead into pickleball, some of those may move over into more of a full time if they realize they can actually make money rather than sitting in an office somewhere. They can make money playing pickleball. There'll probably be a group of those young people that will take advantage of that opportunity and do so. I think that's going to happen in the tennis world too now. That's a whole nother subject with the new owner of the PPA and Pickleball Central, the money he brings forth. I think I see the vision of that growing tremendously. But getting back to the AAU, we have other initiatives. For example, the executive director of pickleball is a gentleman's name is Mike Nielsen, who lives in Utah, and he has recently contacted the school district with where he lives, which has about 75,000 students, and they have now got with the board, and they're going to be able to go into every school in that school district and offer pickleball, and hopefully get that as a curriculum for that school
Oh my
district.
gosh! So now you've
And
got the schools who are the feeders for the
going into the
collegiate,
colleges,
and AAU is. So what is their role then? So AAU is promoting the collegiate, or
oh, they're primarily a youth organization right now. They do have adults, but primarily they're a youth organization. Like I said, the volleyball, the basketball, and we had 151 athletes that were former AAU players that were in the Olympics this past summer.
yeah,
So
right.
the best avenue probably moving forward to get pickleball into the Olympics is through the AAU because they have that relationship.
Yeah.
Because the AAU calls their group national championships the Junior Olympics. That's the name of them, the AAU Junior Olympics. So so it's a feeder program.
Yeah. So is it because pickleball is really just taken off and it's still new that we don't have those feeder programs set up? It's kind of like you have all of these pros who have come from different walks of life, and now it's almost like we're going back and now building the foundation.
Correct. I think that's good. I think when pickleball initially got started, a long time ago, but now probably the phenomenon started probably 8 or 10 years ago, and the expanse and the growth that we're seeing now was probably in the 50 and over group, which is great, and I'm part of that. But I think the future of the game obviously is through the young people, and then expanding into the clubs, and like I said, if you've got 300 players at the University of Virginia that are playing club pickleball right now, that's amazing.
My gosh,
That's
that's
amazing.
so exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, they're all going to follow suit because
absolutely
they are.
And so we find a place. For example, we've talked to Pictona. Ryder Martin's out down in Pictona about maybe hosting this tournament. Don't want to put my foot in front of the mouth there because Ryder and I have been having these discussions, but possibly having it there because it's by Daytona Beach. So do you think these college kids wouldn't like to come in and have a national championship at Daytona Beach? It would be like spring break off
Oh
the
dear.
wall.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
those are the kinds of things that we're talking about right now. Of course, we have an AAU tournament coming up real soon in February at the new Mesa complex.
Oh,
That
right.
that's
Okay, so the new Mesa complex, you told me about that. Okay, wait, just break it down. Tell us
it's
about that Mesa
like
complex.
250 acres, and they have everything. They have, the gym, the volleyball, the basketball, soccer fields. I mean, it's a huge, massive complex, but they
Yeah,
also have 42 pickleball courts. And they
yeah,
just started hosting in the last 2 weeks their first pickleball tournaments.
yeah,
And so we have one coming up in February. It's going to be powered by AAU, and going to be an AAU tournament coming there. And that'll be just a regular type tournament. But
yeah.
again, just because it's powered by AAU, we're getting that name out there. AAU has also just did an arrangement with In Pickleball, which I think is the finest pickleball magazine out there
Mhm.
right now as far as informational ideas and things. And we have 8 pages every month in Pickleball, which we can promote AAU events, the college thing, different things that we're doing. Anna Lee Waters is our face of AAU
Mm.
moving forward with Paddle Tech. And so she was on the first one in December that we started. And so Anna Lee will probably be in there every month of some sort. But she's our face now. She's an AAU member. And what a better face to have for AAU pickleball.
I know. Yeah.
The darling of pickleball right now, huh?
So, okay, so AAU then is hosting tournaments. They are promoting pickleball through the In Pickle
Schools.
magazine. They are and what else? So with the
Well, for example, I'm doing something here in Houston. I'm able to secure some nets from some different folks and companies, and what we're doing is we're going into the schools, junior highs, elementaries, and I'm going in and instructing some pickleball, how to play with the teachers, with the physical education teachers,
yeah.
and then I'm asking them to join the AAU as members at that point. And then when I get finished, I leave them a net. Pretty neat little program that we're getting started in the Houston area. That we're just going into the schools, teaching the teachers how to play pickleball. Maybe get some used paddles if we can find some. But we are leaving them a new net as we leave, and then what we want is just like flag football or basketball or any
Yeah.
other sport that they're teaching. We want a 6 weeks course, maybe in pickleball at some point in their curriculum throughout the year. And most of them are buying in.
You know, I'm a former educator, and I have to say that schools across the country should be adopting a vigorous pickleball program because
Thank you,
everyone can play.
everyone.
Everyone can play. The cost to get the equipment is inexpensive, and then when I say everyone can play, so can your parents. So can the. So it's really a community. It brings communities together. And
I have a 7-year-old grandson. Be careful what you ask for stepping on the court with him. 7.
oh, oh, really?
I'm just saying he can play.
Oh, oh, you're like,
so so
oh, there's
so
a
he,
lob. Oh, honey, go back and get that. Okay, those are yours now.
Uh, so he's a, I mean, his dad played professional baseball, but my point is he's going to be probably a pretty good little athlete. But
Yeah,
and I'll use this. I like to use this example. If you're a baseball player, for example, out there, and you're trying to get your young person or daughter to be a softball player, whatever it may be, that you're trying to get them in a position to get a college scholarship at some point. Well, most of the sports like baseball and things in college, people don't know this. They're usually partial scholarships, 20%, 25%
mm,
scholarship. So you're still paying the majority of the expense. Well, what if you played pickleball and you actually started at some point down the road, started making money on the pro tour? as a younger person, and maybe you paid for your college playing pickleball. And at that time,
Mm,
maybe pickleball's been introduced to the colleges, and maybe it becomes a collegiate sport. Who knows where it could go?
yeah, yeah.
So you can actually be paid to play pickleball and raise money for your college degree, where you're spending all this money to go into camps and all these other things trying to get better, and then you only get a partial scholarship. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, are you seeing though? Are you seeing monies come for younger people in tournaments? This is why it seems to me that a lot of the pros, the majority of them, are not making a lot of money.
They are
I just
not.
think we're not.
They're earning most of their money on camps and clinics,
Yeah,
things of that nature, endorsements, obviously,
yeah,
and sponsorships, and the contracts that the pros have, for the most part, at least the top 25 or so, probably on both sides, men and women. Um, the sponsors match whatever they get in a tournament. In other words, if they get $1,500 in the sponsorship, gives them $1,500 for that as well.
yeah.
So yes, they are starting to make more money. But when you do have a multi-billionaire that just bought the PPA,
Oh
and
yes, the
and he
elephant in the room.
yes, and he wrapped up the top 20 players to
Yeah,
3-year contracts, he paid
yeah,
them some money. So
yeah,
I think we're going to see, and and Ben, don't take this wrong, but I think what's gonna when I talk about Ben John, I said don't take this wrong, Ben, uh,
yeah.
because but if the money becomes so dramatic in the near future, then I think some of your latter professional tennis players, maybe the 80 to 100, 120, that they're outstanding athletes, they see that they could probably make more playing pickleball than they could fighting the tennis. Then they come over, and then Ben Johns may be ranked number 6 in the,
Oh.
because all of a sudden we've got these fabulous tennis folks coming in, and Ben may not be the guy.
Mhm.
Don't take that wrong, Ben. But stay on
Well,
top.
well, yeah, probably. You know what? But also, in developing the programs, in building it from the bottom up, in having collegiate, you are just going to keep getting more and more talent, and as
More
more,
talent.
yeah, it's going to be focused on the sport. It's just going to evolve.
And all the people that I train, I give this conclusion to them on the ratings and things, and that's another whole other subject. But 2 or 3 years ago, the people that were 4-0, they're 3-5 now. And the
Yeah,
people that were 4-5 or 4-0, and et cetera, et cetera. It's about a 5 point turn, is what I see, and
yeah,
just the advancement of the skills and the abilities of people, that those that used to think they were up here now are, okay, I'm playing at this level because of the skills have improved that much. So the game's
yeah,
changed, and it's just going to continue to evolve in that way.
yeah. How exciting! I know. I just, you know what? It was such a pleasure when I played at nationals. The ability to see all these pros up close and to it's just personal, and I imagine that's not going to continue to happen. It's not going to be that way.
Well,
uh the,
Anna Lee and her mom just signed a contract with an agency, so now they're getting agents
yeah,
to
yeah,
work with them, just like the professional baseball or professional basketball or professional sports. They're getting agents to, and so in order to get to them, you have to go through the agent, because now they get a piece of the pie, so to speak. So when
yeah,
you start seeing some of those things, and the agency that they went with is a well-known agency. It's not just
yeah.
some group. It's a national agency. So those
So you had
things
to
are
deal
happening.
you had to
It's
deal with
evolving.
the agency to get her on your cover of your magazine.
Well, we did not, because we had a relationship with Paddle Tech,
I
and
see.
Paddle Tech is their sponsor, and
Yeah.
so we had a compatible a situation where we could work with Annalie in
Yeah.
this case.
I know that you're doing a certification program for coaches. Is that through AAU?
Yes, it is. We have
Oh,
the AAU certification program. We'll be probably bringing that out in either February or March full scale,
oh,
and we'll have a program that will be offering certification for instructors, and it'll be exciting because we're going to be offering it at a lesser price because you got to keep in mind when we have 900,000 members and the other organizations have maybe 40 or 50,000, we're kind of the gorilla in the room.
Yeah.
And so we're able to get better prices and different things on certain items. And one of those things might be insurance that we can provide to our instructors, which will be exciting for them to
Yeah.
know because once you have your instructional certification from an organization, the only thing you really need after that is the insurance because you're certified. So
Yeah.
if you can have dual certification and then get your insurance at half the price that maybe you're paying somewhere else, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
So we're going to have our AAU certified people out there, and of course we'll be international as well as national as well because AAU is international.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so so I
So now,
teach
and my
classes.
title is the managing director of pro certification and instruction
Who
with the
is?
AAU. That's my title, is
Oh, that's
managing
your
director
title.
for pro certification and instruction for AAU.
Okay. So if you're a coach like me, so I live in Central California, and I have a PPR certification, and through that every year I get my insurance, so I can go onto the courts and
Correct.
everyone's
You're
covered.
covered. You're covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Correct. Not
okay.
them. You.
Oh, not your
Yeah. Not
players.
not your players. You.
Oh,
Make sure you understand the insurance.
okay. Well, I
Yeah.
just know I had to have it in order
Yeah.
to
It is. It
work
is.
for
And
the
it covers you. It does cover you. It does cover you. Correct.
They just tell me what I need, and then I've got it.
Absolutely.
But so with would I come to? Are you traveling around doing the
Well,
certifications? Or are you?
we'll have three components probably alive. If we're in that area, then we can obviously do that certification. We'll have a component that will be video, where you can send videos in of you teaching, of you doing
Yeah.
certain skill shots. It'll be a written test, very similar to some of the things you probably did with PPR. Um, then we're also going to offer for our plan is for 1 year to offer a reciprocal program. If you've got a certification from someone else, we will allow you to come in and be AAU certified if you can present your certification. And then all you really need is the insurance. So bingo, now you're dual certified. That could be cool.
Okay. Very interesting. uh, okay. What else do we have on our list, Rommie?
Uh, well,
Hmm.
I wanted to talk a little bit about USSP for the
Yes. Okay. Now I don't even.
50 and over crowd.
Yeah.
USSP is now an arm, I guess you would say, of if you're familiar with SIPA, the Super Senior International Pickleball Association.
Okay.
SIPA now has it's one and the same, but it's SIPA now is going to be used that's going to be used for the international part, and USSP, United States Senior Pickleball, is going to be the United States name for senior pickleball, and that's for the 50 and over crowd.
Okay.
And they have a great organization. If you haven't been on their site, you need to go to their site. It's USSP and
Okay.
look it up. And it's very easy to join. It's like $20. They already have 22 tournaments listed around the country. They're going to have their own regional tournaments. They're going to have their own national tournament. And the reason I like that organization so much, and I'm going to be one of their national ambassadors for them, but the reason I like them so much is because they are offering it for skill and age in that group. In other words, so many times, some of us folks that are a little older, we go to a tournament and then for a variety of reasons, the tournament director has to combine brackets and things because they don't have enough people in this one. And then all of a sudden you end up playing a 50-year-old. If you're 65, that's a 15-year spread and it may not be very successful for you.
Yeah.
Where SIPA tournaments and USSP tournaments are 5-year increments, and they will be truly that. They'll be 5-year increments and in your skill based. And they have their own rating system, which brings us to ratings. But
You ratings. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
going to use pickleball brackets as their location to look up tournaments. So if you haven't been to pickleball brackets, do that as well, and
Mm.
you'll find all the USSP tournaments on there, as well as you can go to the USSP site. But I really think it's a great organization for the 50 and over crowd. And, we've kind of talked about the youth and so forth and so on. And I think we're going to eventually have some relationship in some of their tournaments, possibly with AAU down the road. So that could be kind of exciting as well. So AAU doesn't just, it's not just youth, it's just not just college. And so it can be senior adults as well.
Yeah, which is really interesting because if you think of AAU as the feeding ground for the Olympics, my focus would be towards the young people. But
correct.
it sounds like they're
But everybody can be involved. Everybody
Yeah.
can be involved in AAU. That's what we want
Yeah.
to do in pickleball, especially because it is there is a large group of people out there that are in the 50 and over crowd that play pickleball. Obviously, it's probably the largest demographics out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we want to get them involved some way. So that's
Yeah.
another good thing. So
I like that. I like that. And the focus for the, because, I'm 60 and I've had that happen in tournaments where they didn't have enough people and then they combined the brackets and, so now anyway, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to
look up that. That's a great organization. Hopefully we get the word out. I know they've got over 5,000 people in it already. They're hoping to grow it to 10,000 just in this year alone, and get people out there playing pickleball and playing in their age and their skill. And that way, even for someone that's a beginner and they're 60 years old and they can play in a 60 2.0 or 2.5, in a lower category and get started, find out what it's all about.
How exciting.
Yeah.
How lovely.
Great.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I always like what you said about ratings. And we chatted about that in a previous conversation.
Do not get me started.
Oh my gosh. No, I thought it made a lot of sense.
I have 7 ratings, literally 7 ratings right now.
Right.
And so somebody says, hey, walks up to you and says, hey, what's your rating? And now my answer is, which one would you like? I mean, literally.
Just give them the highest one, Robbie.
Well, it's 5-0 in a lot of places, but I'm saying, but it depends on what group you're with. I mean, it's just sort of ironic that we keep coming up with all these different ratings, and I have a personal opinion about ratings. I think ratings are primarily devoted to the tournament player. In other words, it's only based on how well you do in a tournament. Well, if 85 to 90% of the people out there that are playing pickleball never go to a tournament, and that's a fact. Right. So you've got
how many? What was that percentage?
About 85 or 90% of the people that play pickleball in this country don't go to tournaments.
They just play for fun.
They just play. It's recreational. It's exercise. It's social. The social aspect. But yet, I train a lot of those folks or teach those folks, and yet every one of them still wants to know, what do you think my rating is? What do you? It's always that pose that question, whether they ever go to a tournament or not. What am I? Well, for me, the only true rating is you would need rating specialists. Now, their IPTPA tried to do this a little bit in their organization, but have rating specialists that go in each state. You might have to have multiples, but you have to go to this rating specialist. You have to do a series of execution of shots that at a percentage level. In other words, if you want to be a 5-0, it's got to be probably at the 90% level. If you're 4-5, it's 80, and so forth and so on. Yeah. And then so you have these series of shots, skill shots. They have to see you play in an active participation game against similar skill players and see how you react and how your court coverage is and all of those kinds of things. And then maybe even a written test, so you have some knowledge of the game itself. And that is a rating. That is a true rating of your abilities to play this game. Just saying you are this because you go to a tournament. Well, what it does also, and what concerns me about ratings is, if you're concerned about your rating and you want to go to XYZ tournament and you just want to play with your friend and they're not that good, but you just want to play with them because they're your friend. You can't, it keeps you from maybe doing that because I can't go play with my friend over here and get them involved, because if we get the heck beat out of us, then my rating goes down and I had no control over that. I was just wanting to play with my friend to kind of get him introduced to tournaments. And
Yes.
how unfair is that?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's totally
ridiculous.
unfair. So
Yeah.
truly, there is the
Hmm.
IFP rating. There is the USSP rating through pickleball brackets. There's the UPTPR rating, which is just a rating now. Now, then there's the Duper rating. There is the through pickleball brackets, and the IPTPA has a rating. So literally, I have 7 ratings. I mean, what does that mean?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you know what? And here, like if you're with your mixed doubles partner or my women's doubles partner, apparently I'm better with my mixed double. Like
right.
Whatever. I am the same player.
You're the same person.
Yeah.
It's because
person.
you didn't do as well in a tournament with your mixed partner, or you did do better with your women's partner. I mean, but you're the same person. I mean, if I came out with Jan and said, Jan, okay, here are 10 shots that I want you to perform. And whatever percentage you hit, okay, I say, okay, you got to hit third shot drops and you have to land them in the kitchen. And if you want to be a 5-0 player, you got to do it 9 out of 10. If you want to be and so you hit 68% of them. That puts you in that 3-5-4-0 bracket, whatever it may be. So then we go on to all these other skill shots, and you have to perform those. Now that's determining more how good you are. And then also,
and it's more data driven. It's specific and it's data driven. The part that would be difficult is, game strategy, court positioning, during a game. Where are you?
You have to watch them play.
Executing those shots under pressure.
You have to watch them play too. I think part of that rating criteria is the skill shots, but then you watch them play a couple of games or a game in a setting with similar players. Now they do this but that has to be a person that has the eyes to see those things, and those are persons that go through a specialist training to be able to do that. And now you've got a true rating system. That's the only way we'll ever have a true rating system. You can't do it on just tournaments. Now I can go in and say, okay, look, if you want to rate, I can rate you. And whether you ever play a tournament at all, now you can safely go out there and say, I'm a 3-5 player because I went through the rating system with all the subjectivity necessary to be that person. And it doesn't change just because you play with a lesser player or a better player.
Right. I could play with you, a 5-0 player, and then all of a sudden I would look really good. But
you're going to be pretty good out there. If we go play 2 3-5s and we beat the dog out of them, hey, I'm a pretty good player. And yet, so here's what happens: your rating goes up appreciably, and mine stays the same because I didn't beat anyone. But yours, okay, I beat 2 4-0 players or something, hey, because I had a great partner. How does that? So ratings are need to be reworked. They need to be redone, and we don't need 7 of them. I'm sorry.
No.
So when someone asks you, Jan, what's your rating? Well, which one would you like?
Yeah.
That's my answer now. Which one would you like? Sincerely.
It is true. It's like, you work so hard at playing and you do want to have a sense of, where do I fit in with everything? But, I also just enjoy the process, and I like looking at the USAP rating guide. And let's say we're looking at the 4-5 or the 5-0. And, what is it that I could be tightening up? What is it that I could be doing better? Where do I have to go? What are, and just enjoy that process.
Do you want me to give you the right answer?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Get a better partner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I know. No, you're right. It makes all the difference in the world.
I'm sorry if you're going into tournaments, and even if your partner's 40% of you and you're the 60, you're the 40, probably not going to work. You better find someone that's 50-50 or even better than you if you can.
Like that.
And so it's find a better partner, because you can't control rec games. I tell people all this all the time when I'm working with them, that rec games cannot be controlled. If I go in and I'm playing with a beginner, I'm just saying, I'll be glad to play with you. Let's go play a game. Get them started. And we're playing, say, a couple of 3-5s that can control the ball where they hit it. Well, if they hit every ball to that beginner and that's who they decide to beat up, there's nothing I can do. Not one thing I can do. And we're going to lose that game. And they might walk away saying, hey, man, I beat Rommie. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's my point. You can't control rec games. So what you need to control in a
Yeah.
rec game is how well you play and what you do with that rec game. So that's
Yeah.
all. Ratings are, like I said, I could go on and on about ratings.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a fan of ratings the way they are right now, as you can tell.
Well, very good. Well, hey, we are coming here about the end of our time, and
Oh, I want to
I
talk just briefly, if I can, on
yeah,
Texas. What's happening in Texas?
yes,
Real quick. I want to say that place is called Dreamland. It's the home of the MLP. Probably everybody
yes.
saw that on national TV. They've got now 16 courts, 4 covered. That place has been around for a couple of years now, but pretty
Okay,
new.
wait, tell us about it. Wait, what is it like?
It's
I've never been
four covered courts,
there. Okay.
and then they've got 12 outdoor courts. Beautiful place. They've got this the hardest miniature golf facility in the world. They advertise it, and I agree with them. I was playing miniature golf with Ben Johns and Kyle Yates on it, and so it was. They said par sixes, and I think they're par 12s because it is impossible. So it's really
Really?
one of the neatest miniature golf deals. But they've also got a picnic area and beer garden. They've got a live band stage.
Oh,
They have functions going on constantly, nonstop. The place is packed. They're just recently talked to the owner there, and they're about 70% capacity during the week and 100% capacity on the weekends.
that's
All hours,
amazing.
all hours.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Okay, and
But they're,
that's in Houston. Did you say in
that is
Houston?
just outside of Austin. It's called Dripping Springs, a small
Oh,
community just outside of Austin,
yeah.
Texas. And then the Austin Pickleball Ranch is coming in. That's Tim Klitsch and his group. And Tim is going to have 32 courts, going to have sand volleyball. And Austin's kind of a younger tech community, and as far as Texas is concerned,
Mhm.
it's where the Californians go to, and the techies, and so they've got a little bit younger group that will be going to that facility, and they've got 32 courts that are being built as we speak, and they're going to be hosting some major tournaments. I'm sure they'll have PPA and APP come through there. As a
How
matter of fact,
exciting.
we were going to do that with our club, and if we had built it, we were going to do some things with them and have kind of a Texas two-step, we were going to call it. So it's going to, when they
Oh,
go
how,
play there and come on. Yeah.
yeah, you might as
Uh,
well, right?
yeah. Grand
Yeah.
Prairie, Texas, just outside of Dallas, just built a brand new chicken and pickle. So
Mm,
there's a new chicken and pickle that everybody's pretty much familiar with those. Those are franchised throughout Kansas City and a number of places in the country now.
yeah.
Um, in Houston, we just had a new place open up called Lone Star Pickleball. Has 11 courts, and they're up in the north part of Houston, in Spring area. It's got a little restaurant and bar and stuff, and so that's a neat place. And there's another place more centrally located in Houston, more closer to downtown. It's called Bumpy Pickle, and
Uh-huh.
they just opened up with 8 courts and a restaurant and bar. So things are happening.
Wow.
That's just
Wow.
5 or 6 facilities that are opening up right now in Texas. So it's just growing again, like crazy. I have three people that are close friends of mine that have just recently put private courts in their backyards.
Yeah.
One of them's indoor and 2 are outdoor. Built an indoor court, so people are starting to put them in their backyards as entertainment instead of pools. They're putting in pickleball courts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I,
great.
I love it. I love it. Hey, and I just want to thank you for being a part of Picklebelly Hosted Housing.
Oh, thank you for asking me.
Yeah. And it's going to be great to hopefully help with getting people to attend all of those big tournaments down in Texas and finding housing for the players, for the refs, for, and
Excellent.
I look, yeah.
Love what you're doing. Love the whole format. I think it's going to be an exciting time. I think not only nationally but internationally.
Yeah.
We're going to see it all over the world. Big people hosting and being a
Yeah.
part of that, and then dual. I mean, you do it for someone, and then they do it for someone. That I think that's how it's going to spread. And
I like it. And I'm
and
staying with Darla Christensen in Vegas when I go to the tournament in February. And I'm staying with the Colemans in Phoenix when I go to that
that's
tournament.
awesome.
So,
That's awesome. Well,
oh, yeah, it's
anybody
Pickleball.
wants to host me sometime, it's a free lesson.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. I told Kathy in Phoenix, my husband and I are musicians. So I said, okay, we'll do a little concert for you and your
Outstanding.
friends.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So lot of good things. Hey, but hey, thank you for everything. Nice to chat with you. Are you
Jan,
playing
always a
pickleball
pleasure.
today? I've got a lesson today
I
at
have a
1 o'clock.
lesson in about 30 minutes and another
Oh,
one right after that. I finished up at 10 o'clock last night. It's just ongoing all the time.
yep.
All time pickleball.
Yes. Sounds good. Okay, Rommie, we'll talk to you
All
later.
right, Jan, appreciate it. And thank you so much for inviting me on.
Yep. Okay, have a good day.
You
Bye.
take care. Bye bye.